Welcome to Valley's Gold, a show where we explore the people and places who feed and clothe us. On this episode, we travel to Monterey to learn about the bounty of the sea. From abalone to fresh fish, we'll dive into the seafood industry and experience some of the fun you can have over on the peninsula. So join me, Ryan Jacobson, on this adventure.
Valley's Gold is produced through a partnership between the Fresno County Farm Bureau and Valley PBS. Production funding for Valley's Gold is provided by
the Myers Water Bank and Wildlife Project, an educational outreach program working to teach students about water and wildlife issues in California. Field trips are free for all schools, and each trip's curriculum is based on learning about California water resources, valley agriculture, and native wildlife.
Everyone enjoys getting together to laugh, to talk, and mostly to eat. It sounds so simple, but the reality is that it takes a lot of hard work to feed us. The next time you sit down to eat, remember to thank our farmers. Garge Italian Incorporated since 1949 at 800-696-6108.
Heroes come in all shapes and sizes. At Brandt, our heroes are the men and women in the field, the folks who work hard to put food on our table. Join us in celebrating the Valley's real heroes. Brandt, professional agriculture.
We begin our coastal visit with Robbie Teresi of Robbie's Ocean Fresh Seafood. Robbie, thanks for welcoming me to beautiful Monterey.
Welcome. Glad to have you guys here and hope you enjoy your day.
How can you not enjoy it over here? Absolutely gorgeous.
It's paradise, God's country.
Well,
Yes.
Let me begin. Where are we standing?
This is Municipal Wharf number 2. It is the commercial working pier of Monterey where all the commercial fleet comes into to unload their fish during the day. The wharf behind us is considered wharf number 1, which is all the restaurant wharf.
That's all the tourism one, and
Tourist.
it's crazy how many times I've been over here but never stepped foot over here, and this is just as spectacular. This is awesome over here.
This is where all the action happens.
This is absolutely where all the action happens.
And being this is the heartbeat of Monterey, this is the place to come check it out.
Well, Robbie, how'd you ever get started in the seafood business?
Born and raised in San Francisco. My family had a market, 45, 50 years ago in our neighborhood, and I just, as a kid, always fished and everything, and then we started doing retail market, and I kind of got my I guess you say my feet wet.
Yeah.
Back then, moved down to Monterey years ago, got back into it again, and stuck with it.
Now, you ever been on the boats out in the ocean? Then?
I did. I commercial fish, rock cod, swordfish, salmon, and then also up in Alaska. I fished up in Alaska for a season, which is a pretty good experience.
I bet so. And now you got your name on a business. I
Yeah.
mean, you are the Robbie of Robbie's Ocean Fresh Seafood. So how long has this been? Has this been in existence? And
My own personal business has been 16 years.
16 years,
myself.
okay. And what do you guys do?
We're basically just a wholesale company to the restaurants within here in Monterey, Carmel, Pacific Grove, Pebble Beach. We drive back and forth to the city, San Francisco, 6 days a week to pick up product. Come down here and process it back at the warehouse. We have a few drivers in our vans, and that's how it's done. And we do like the Pebble Beach Company, the Monterey Bay Aquarium.
Yep.
We supply the seafood for the animals at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. So everybody.
So it's just not visitors over here. You're feeding the animals that the visitors are coming to see.
That's if they're happy, I'm happy. If the animals in the aquarium are happy with what they're getting, the aquarium people are happy with that, and we're all happy.
That's a pretty awesome.
It starts with the animals.
Yeah, pretty awesome endeavor then. So to get the whole scope there. To ensure the catches of tomorrow, sustainability is essential.
It's a diverse, industry.
Yeah.
And it being sustainurable, trying to keep with all the sustainability with the Monterey Bay Aquarium as far as all the fishermen, how they fish. It's pretty intricate. I'm considered a purveyor liaison.
Got it, okay.
And we work together, with the fishermen about things that are being caught, if they're caught sustainably, and
Sustainable traceability and just being able to
carbon footprint.
Yeah,
exactly. They don't want to have a lot of things from other countries come in, but people need fish for the restaurants, so that we try to give them an alternative. That's what the Seafood Watch program is all about.
The Monterey Bay Aquarium puts out recommendations to help consumers choose seafood that has less impact on the environment.
Green, yellow, and red seafood watch card, give you an alternative, what from good to bad, what to use, what to watch out for. Along not just with the restaurants, for the public also.
Yeah.
It's good to know. So when you go into your fish market to talk to your fishmonger, you got a little bit of knowledge to talk to the guy about.
And that's one thing I want to jump to is the terminology. You said fishmonger?
Fishmonger.
That's the official term.
Yeah. I mean, I guess a fishmonger is a person basically, who peddles fish.
Got it. So Robbie, I bet our fisherman viewers at home love to see the skill with you and the knife in those fish. You're doing some amazing things. What exactly are you doing there?
Mainly just filleting the fish. It took a little bit of practice and a little bit of learning to do that. I mean, a lot of cuts and wounds on my hands through the process of all the years. And still, I mean, there's times where I mess up. I don't tell my workers about it, but yeah, I mess up on a couple of fish once in a while. But it's a talent to do. Yeah.
And you cutting by species? Is there certain cuts, or is this by what the customer's ordering, or?
Well, no, do it with the customer orders. Sometimes I like to let the gentlemen or the companies in San Francisco where I purchase from do the cutting, because that's what their job is day and night, is cutting. I just do it because it gives me something to do.
And what exactly are you looking for in quality? When it comes to quality fish, what's those specs you're looking for?
For me, myself, I have to look really hard because my clientele basically is hand-picked, and I am their eyes and ears in the seafood industry. A monger.
Yeah.
Look for mainly is just the freshest. Fish do not smell like fish.
Yeah.
Fish just smell fresh.
It absolutely starts with you, and like I said, you're doing an amazing job here.
Thank
just
you very much.
supplying some of the restaurants that a lot of folks don't know where it originates. Their meal originates, but it's coming
right
from you, and
And I learned the hard way too. Being from a commercial fisherman to being on land to seeing all the steps of how it's from the water to the boat, from the boat to the dock, from the dock to the process until it goes on your plate. People just eat it and don't realize how it's caught or where it comes from.
Well, Robbie, I guess I got to end with the fact that, folks can come down and see you. I can't encourage our viewers enough to come over here in Monterey and visit you at Wharf number 2, Municipal Wharf number 2.
I hope you do. Robbie, Ocean Fresh, the end of the pier, right side of the building. Come and see me anytime.
Come take some pictures,
Check
out some fresh fish, and
feed the sea lions. Maybe if you got a fish in hand, we'll let you cut a fish. Cut your own fish and take home for dinner anytime.
That's awesome.
You're more than welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Robbie, for joining me on this incredible visit.
See you guys when you get here.
We have moved just down the wharf to the Monterey Abalone Company to meet up with Art Seavey. Well, I am so excited about this adventure that we're going to go on. What is the Monterey Abalone Company?
Well, it was started by a guy named Joe Kavanaugh, and he was working for the county of Monterey, and they had hired him to help them explore ways to expand the agricultural productivity of the county. He really believed in aquaculture and really saw the potential of it here in this area, and he founded this farm.
And how did you come about and getting involved in it?
Well, I had been working for 10 prior years in Ecuador, farming shrimp. And so one thing led to another, and I met Joe, and we became partners.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
What is an abalone? I think some viewers probably know, but a lot probably don't know.
It's a giant marine snail, believe it or not. And they eat seaweed just like your garden snails eat the plants in your yard, and very long-lived. Fish and Wildlife determined that a 10-inch abalone was probably 100 years old when it died.
Oh, wow.
And so they're very interesting. And they're
very tasty snails too, right?
Very tasty, very tasty.
The slow-growing abalone flourishes in Monterey Bay.
Red abalone, which are the abalone, that's the kind of abalone we farm. They are found all over Monterey Bay, and this is the center of their geographic range.
What is the process does it take to grow abalone?
We have a hatchery, we spawn the adults, we raise the little babies until they're about 10 months old.
Okay.
Because at that size, they're big enough to eat seaweed. And so then we bring them to the farm and stock them in our cages and feed them seaweed for another 3 or 4 years, until the smallest size we sell is about a quarter pound.
The kelp, the seaweed, where's it coming from?
So we just take what's on the surface. The kelp plant grows from the rocks up to the surface and then kind of just lays over, and we just grab that from our skiff and cut it off with a kitchen knife and haul it into the boat.
And that's happening a couple times a week? You have to?
Yeah, we'll go out 4 days a week.
Got it. And so you're bringing that kelp in. How do you get it? You actually physically have to bring all the cages up and put it into the cage?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we have a little winch system, and we lift our cages out of the water. We hose them out with seawater. We check for predators, mostly crabs and octopus, maybe starfish. And then we just stuff it full of kelp and put it back down. We feed them once a week.
So our viewers are getting to see what this farm is. Kind of explain what you're looking at down here.
So you can see we built a bunch of walkways amongst the pilings, and we hang our grow-out cages from the walkways.
Okay.
And so that's the abalone are inside those cages. They're on a set of panels that are in there. They crawl around on the panels and eat.
Yeah.
We hope.
Yeah, and eating, that's pretty much their job, is to eat as much
That's their job. That's their job, is to eat and get bigger. And so it's a great environment here. We've got, as you can see on the pilings, we've got starfish, we've got incredible barnacles, some of them as big as your fist. And it's we've got sea lions and all the life you need.
The farm-raised abalones are harvested and shipped year-round.
We harvest the abalone and package them, and depending on where they're going, we supply a lot of local restaurants as well as in the San Francisco Bay Area. We ship it all around the country. Yeah.
You're shipping them out live?
We're shipping them out alive.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when, basically when these restaurants are receiving them, then you want it as fresh as possible. So this is all happening very quickly, in a very quick window.
That's right. Yeah, we pack them up, starting after lunch. FedEx picks them up at 4 o'clock, and they're at their destination the next morning.
Got it. So Art, is this something that really restaurants do just themselves very well, or is this something our viewers at home can enjoy abalone?
Both. We sell to the general public as well as to restaurants and distributors.
The one great thing is you have a storefront here in Monterey. I mean, you can literally, any of the public's welcome to come visit you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, Art, thank you so much for this incredible experience. I knew a little bit about the abalone. I know a lot of our viewers, you hear about the abalone, but to get to see what you guys are doing here on a sustainable local level has been just absolutely incredible.
Well, it's really my pleasure, and thank you so much for giving us this opportunity.
We have taken the short drive from the commercial wharf to one of Monterey's hottest spots, Cannery Row. We have met up with Diane Mandeville. Diane, thanks for having me out here today.
Brian, welcome to Cannery Row, Monterey. We're so happy to have you.
I am so excited to be here today because this is just an incredible location.
It's a beautiful place. Let's talk about Cannery Row.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
What is the Cannery Row Company?
Cannery Row Company is really the founder of Cannery Row as a tourism destination. Back in the late 60s, all of the canneries had stopped operating because the sardine population that had fueled them had ended.
The sardines is what made this area.
It did, and the sardines disappeared. You know, there's some controversy about whether it was overfishing or whether it was a cycle of their population and water temperatures, but at the end of the day, they were gone in the numbers that they'd been here before. So you had a street that was filled with abandoned canneries. They were really, they were condemned. It was a pretty ugly industrial street, and you couldn't really see to the water even or the shoreline. And so our owner, Ted Balistreri, thought this is a perfect place for tourists. This is a beautiful spot for hotels and wonderful restaurants and shops. And the coastline is so gorgeous here with the Monterey Bay, which ultimately became protected, of course, as the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. So he gradually created this renaissance on Cannery Row where it transitioned from the abandonment of the canning era and became this really beautiful Central Coast destination.
At its peak, over 200,000 tons of sardines were landed annually at Cannery Row. The mid-century fishery collapse left nothing more than dilapidated and burned out buildings. Cannery Row's revitalization took decades to become what you see today.
It's taken a long time. It took about 40 years to gradually do that transition. We managed to hang on to those buildings and renovate those that could be, but this is a pretty harsh marine environment. So a lot of those canneries really we couldn't rehab. The building right behind us here, 700 Cannery Row, is a beautiful example of managing to keep a building that's well over 100 years alive. But then we've really made an effort with new construction to reflect what was here before. But you're right, between ocean view hotels and restaurants and shops and attractions, we are really fortunate to be where we are.
And we have a lot of other guests here too. Wildlife surrounding us everywhere.
That's right. It's really great. The otters and sea lions and harbor seals and the ever popular seagulls. Some people call them rats with wings. I personally don't, but some people do.
Steinbeck Plaza is the heart of Cannery Row. A large monument recognizes the history of the area.
this monument is the Cannery Row monument that was dedicated in 2014, and it really is a tribute to all of the different peoples and cultures that helped make Cannery Row, Chinese fishermen, some of the characters that reflect John Steinbeck's novel, and then also the founders of Cannery Row as we know it today.
Got it. And we talk about John Steinbeck. We can't really underestimate his contributions to this area. Obviously wrote several books that included this region.
John Steinbeck really put Cannery Row on the international map with Cannery Row and the follow-up books to it and so forth.
Yeah, and when we talk about Cannery Row, Monterey in general, there's essentially something to do 365 days a year around here, right?
That is sort of the bane of our existence, to be honest with you. When you're talking about trying to message and share your destination with people, what do you focus on? Because there really is truly something for everyone, every age group, different family groupings, depending on where you're from and what you like to do. Wine tasting is obviously something that we really treasure here because we have an incredible premium wine growing region in Monterey County.
A Taste of Monterey Wine Market and Bistro showcases over 95 local wineries.
We have a wonderful regional wine tasting center here called A Taste of Monterey, and you can have panoramic views of the bay while you taste one of well over 100 varietals that we grow here.
Wow, that's incredible. And obviously, then you could be on the active side, be out there in the bay with all those otters as well.
Well, I personally I like to sit by a window seat, with a glass of wine
see the
look
people.
at that. But then there are people more ambitious who can take a kayak out or do stand-up paddleboarding, which is really popular now.
Yeah.
Supposedly it really works on the core. Also, we have a beautiful recreational trail, 18 miles that runs along the coast, so you can ride bikes or skate or just take a nice leisurely walk.
Absolutely, that sounds fantastic. And where can our viewers learn more about this beautiful place?
I think we've got a terrific website, canneryrow.com. It's very interactive. You can plan a trip, you can save activities for a later visit, but it really tells you everything that you'd want to know about Cannery Row, including the hotels, plan your restaurants, attractions, things that you might like to do. And then we also have some really great stories that we post on the website that just shares maybe some hidden secrets.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that we're talking, you guys are center of California and pretty much accessible by everybody within a short drive.
We are, but we have a particular fondness for our Central Valley guests because our owner, Ted Balistreri, one of his partners, Bert Catino, but two other primary partners were tomato growers from Visalia. And they were instrumental in really seeing the vision of these two young guys and helping to fund it and bring it to life. And they were Harry Davidian and George Zarunian, and we really do love our Central Valley visitors.
Valley grown, so it's a nice connection there. So Diane, thank you so much for sharing this incredible wisdom you have on this just beautiful area, and I just cannot wait to come back to visit it again.
Ryan, thank you so much for coming, and we hope that we'll see many more visitors from the Fresno area soon.
Absolutely, thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
With all the fine dining options on Cannery Row, the Sardine Factory stands out. We're joined by its founder and executive chef, Bert Catino. Bert, thanks for welcoming me to this gorgeous restaurant.
Well, it's a pleasure for us. Welcome.
I am so excited to learn about this phenomenal restaurant, but before we jump there, how did you get started in the restaurant business?
Well, sometimes people think it's by choice, but I guess because of the Sicilian family that I was brought up in, and my mother was an excellent cook. I just got into it and I enjoyed it, whether making raviolis or making cookies or whatever it was, and it just seemed to come easy to me.
Bert's first break as a chef began over a spaghetti challenge.
And he says to me, "You don't like my spaghetti?" I says, "Well, chef, I'm Italian, we make a lot." He says, "Well, you think you can make it better?" Cocky that I am, I said, "Yes." He says, "Okay, next time you make it." I says, "Okay, no big deal for me." So Mr. Holman comes in, 11:30. "Chef, what do you got today?" He says, "Spaghetti alla Catino." "Spaghetti alla what?" "Spaghetti alla Catino." He used my name. I was overwhelmed. He says, "Let me taste that." He took one bite of that. He put the plate down. He says, "Chef, don't you serve this." My heart just went down. He says, "I'm going to be fired. It's going to be terrible." He says, "Serve this to the customers. This is too good. This is really good." Then he came over to me and he said to me, he says, "You want to learn how to cook?" And I said, "Yeah." And I'm thinking, I'm going to wear the hat, put on the coat, and forget about washing dishes. He says, "What are you doing?" I was taking off my apron because I figured I'd put on a jacket. And, already I'm jumping the gun, right? And he says to me, "In between your shift."
You get to learn. Chef Coutinho continued to refine his skills at several restaurants before opening his own.
Looking to open up a restaurant, I always heard, Cannery Row could be a future.
And what year was this?
Oh, this was about 1967. So we found this dilapidated building that was called the Aurora Hall. When you went through the back door, there was nothing there. So we had to create a kitchen back there, which was another
Kind of an important asset to have.
kind of important asset to have what you're going to do in the restaurant. And
And I think that's the thing I really want to highlight is the fact that I got to see Cannery Row here just in the previous segment.
right.
This didn't look like that back then.
They didn't look like this at all. And my father was the type, old country, and he says, but whatever you do, what makes you happy will make me happy.
Yeah.
So there was no peer pressure from us. And fortunately, he got to see what we did here at Cannery Row. He was a little overwhelmed by it, but
It's absolutely beautiful, and it's turned
it's
into
beautiful, and the restaurant grew. And I got to tell you one story about the bar, because the bar wasn't there.
Yeah.
That bar is a Brunswick from England.
Yeah.
And it has a compass in the center of the bar because those were on ships.
Oh, wow. The sardine factory continued to grow in popularity due to its reputation for excellent food, service, and ambiance.
But one thing we really want to emphasize on the food was farm to table, which has now become a thing.
Yeah.
And and then of course, we wanted to do something with the soup. We figured we'd do a signature type thing, and we played around with different things. We came up with this abalone thing, this abalone bisque, which we did serve at President Reagan's inaugural.
Wow. So I know we're here to talk about maybe a couple dishes that you do here. What are we going to see today?
Sand dab. The sand dab, to me, used to be called trash fish. Nobody wanted sand dab.
You say trash fish, I'm thinking bait fish.
Yeah,
But
right.
now you've turned it into a delicacy.
Right. And sand dabs have become very popular, especially here in the Monterey Peninsula, because we promote it.
Yeah.
And we promoted it. And, I take the old adage from Pop Ernest, who did the abalone thing.
Yeah.
This is what happens. All of a sudden, things get discovered, and then all of a sudden, the supply doesn't continually increase.
Yeah.
The demand does. So, abalone has become an issue. Of course, wild abalone, there's not much left of that.
Yeah.
And of course, farming now is the big thing with abalone. As you know, down on the wharf, they're doing that.
And that was quite the experience. I actually got to visit that abalone farm and know that that's an opportunity for a lot of folks that maybe otherwise wouldn't have the chance to taste wild. They got to get to taste this.
That's absolutely correct. And whether it's farmed or fresh, they want abalone.
Well, you got to give me what I want, Chef.
Absolutely.
I'm here to eat, so we got to go grab a dish and give it a try.
I'm looking forward to it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Well, Chef Burt, you took me back in the kitchen and we did some really cool things. What do we have here?
Well, what you have is very simple. This is now an appetizer portion that I'm giving you here. Normally we serve about 3 or 4 sand dabs there, depending on their side. But you got a little Swiss chard sauteed with little shallots and lightly. So as you watch me cook that, as you noticed, it didn't all stick to it.
Yeah,
And the idea is the searing process where it sears the flavor in, and that's what you want to get. You don't want a heavy breaded type thing. You want it light.
I'm just gonna try the tip here. Definitely doesn't taste like a trash fish to me.
No, it shouldn't.
This is wonderful. Well, Chef, you're celebrating 50 years this year.
Yes.
I think you got this figured out a little bit.
Well, we're getting there.
Well done. This has been just an incredible experience to come see what, is just one of the stalwarts of this region, this area. Just a really magical visit here.
We're very proud of our restaurant. We're proud of our staff. It takes our staff dedicated to make sure you have a great experience.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're after.
And we want to make sure all of our viewers come see you as well.
Absolutely. You come and see me. I'm here all the time.
Well, thank you, Burt.
Thank you.
And thank all of you for watching Valley's Gold. See you next time.
Salud.
Valley's Gold is produced through a partnership between the Fresno County Farm Bureau and Valley PBS. Production funding for Valley's Gold is provided by
the Myers Water Bank and Wildlife Project, an educational outreach program working to teach students about water and wildlife issues in California. Field trips are free for all schools, and each trip's curriculum is based on learning about California water resources, valley agriculture, and native wildlife.
Everyone enjoys getting together to laugh, to talk, and mostly to eat. It sounds so simple, but the reality is that it takes a lot of hard work to feed us. The next time you sit down to eat, remember to thank our farmers, Garge Italian Incorporated since 1949 at 800-696-6108.
Heroes come in all shapes and sizes. At Brandt, our heroes are the men and women in the field, the folks who work hard to put food on our table. Join us in celebrating the Valley's real heroes. Brandt, professional agriculture.
Valley PBS is committed to teaching children the importance of agriculture. Valley's Gold Education through Agriculture offers lessons for elementary school students. To download free worksheets and activity kits, and to watch child-friendly videos about the crops explored on Valley's Gold, visit valleysgold.org and click on Education.